Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Brian Tinker with Tinker Homes, and today we're going to talk about contracts. Now, contracts are a key element, and I spoke a little bit about them and how to pick a contractor if you've seen that video, but this is a little bit more in-depth version of that. So there's 8 elements. So number one, what is the contractor? What are they doing for you? So you want to make sure that your set of plans from your architect are pretty much ironclad. They have the date on them, the name of the contractor, what version it is, all that type of thing. And you want to make sure that what the contractor is saying they're going to do for you matches the plans. So for me, for instance, I will put in, we are building to the exact specifications of the architectural plans from blank company on blank date, which is usually the latest set that's been delivered. Number 2, contract price. I also speak about this in another video, but this is quick. Fixed versus cost plus. A fixed contract is, I go down and figure out all of my line items, then I add 5 or 8% to the whole thing on each line item, and then I present it to you. And that way, if something goes south or bad on 4 or 5 items, the other items will cover it. But that cost will never increase over. So let's just say the total fixed price is $500,000 for something that you're gonna have built for you, and that's the fixed price. No matter what, they can't go over it. However, a cost plus contract could actually be $375 with the contractor fee. So in a cost plus, the line items are very transparent. You get all the invoices, everything comes to you, and there's no question whatsoever as to what each item cost. And you can even ask your contractor for all of the estimates from the subcontractors and from the vendors. Because if it's a cost plus contract, what is there to hide? They should be able to give it to you, and then they're going to charge you a percentage. So I would recommend always cost plus, but you'll have to figure that out as well. Number 3 is payments. How are payments going to be made? Are they through a bank? Is it directly from you and you're personally financing it? However that looks, make sure you have all that nailed down. How long it's going to take from the time you receive the draw, which is what we call it. I send you a sheet that says these are the costs and these are all of the associated invoices, and you have all the backup that you need, and then you have to write a check. If everything's okay, you need to write a check within 5 days or whatever. So that's payments. Number 4 is the timeline. We put in the number of days. Instead of months, we put in 180 days, 300 days, whatever that's going to take, that's the amount of time we put in. Also within that contract, though, is all sorts of other verbiage about acts of God, weather, forest fire, wind, whatever might interfere with that timeline. And then obviously timelines are impacted by change orders, and they're impacted by finish choices. So you should get something from your contractor that says, hey, pick all these items, or these are the items that you need to pick next, and they need to be picked by this date. If you end up not being able, because life is hectic and there's kids and work and travel and vacations and all sorts of stuff, and it comes right down to, hey, I didn't get this done for 3 weeks, that may have stopped your project for 3 weeks. So now you have to take that 21 days and add it to, let's say, the 180 days that you had originally decided upon. Number 5, substantial completion. What is substantial completion? It just means that the house is mostly done, but even after you get your final inspections and CO, that would be considered pretty much substantial completion. That does not mean you're ready to move in. So don't get that confused, because a punch list always needs to be gone through before you move back in, or it makes it 10 times harder for you to live in and your contractor to finish. So substantial completion is, yes, you have your CO, but let us finish that first punch list, and then after that, substantial completion may mean in every way, shape, and form, you can make your final payment to your contractor. All right, number 6, allowances. This is easy. Allowances cover cabinetry, appliances, countertops, floor choices, tile, things like that your contractor can only put a guesstimate in based upon what you've told them, and then you need to help them adjust that number before you submit to a bank. So if you want incredibly nice countertops and you're going to need 3 slabs, well, a normal basic slab is going to be $6,500 per slab, fabricated and installed. So 3 times 65 for those 3 slabs, and you've got your price, $19,500. So But if you want something that's very unique or specific or anything like that, that's going to be much, much higher, you want copper, you want some exotic wood butcher block, all that stuff has to be figured out, and you need to make sure that you tell your contractor before you get to that point. Number 7, change orders. Change orders are a rough one within this business. We have in our contract the fact that, hey, if things go difficultly, we can charge you per change order $100 fee. Now, in 17 years, we've never actually charged that because we haven't ended up in that situation with a client. But if you're going to write a change order, or if you want to change something, they need to give you something that's written and all spelled out, and it can be in an email. Email is completely legal, and if you say this change order is approved in an email, it's all legal. But do not let them begin work without your approval. That's absolutely crucial for down the road, cost increases, all sorts of stuff. How is it going to get paid for? What was the estimate? Can't exceed that estimate, all that. It's not really an estimate, it's an actual price on a change order. This is what it will cost, and then it cannot exceed that, and that's important to have. Okay, and number 8 is the default. The default by a contractor or by the owner is when the specifications of the contract are violated in the course of building. So if you have a situation where a contractor made an error, and then you let them know of that error, and then they say, okay, we'll fix that error, everybody agrees on the fix, then there's been no violation, there's been no default. If you say, hey, this is how the architect designed this, and you used an inferior material, or you did it differently, then that is a default if they refuse to cure it. That's the official legalese word, cure, and I mentioned that in that other video as well. And if they won't cure it, then they've defaulted. Now, a default on the owner's side might be a refusal to pay even though there was nothing wrong. It might be that the owner just stops the process, stops working on the project, stops picking things, and that can only happen for so long before a contractor has to say, I've got to remove my license from this project. I understand you've had some hardship in your life, but I just can't hang in limbo. So I'm going to say that you've defaulted and terminate our contract, and you'll have to find another contractor or call me back, but it will cost more. That's the problem. When a homeowner decides to change it up, if the contractor is a nightmare, I totally get it. If the contractor is not a nightmare and you change, then it's going to cost you considerably more money to change to a new contractor. So that is a big default, though. You kind of have to prove that that contractor has been a nightmare, like they didn't communicate, they didn't, make sure everything is in email. I know texts are so easy, but emails are so much better. There should be a follow-up email with bullet points about what was decided, what was said, how we're going to move forward on every single meeting. And that way, defaults just aren't anywhere near as possible for anybody, and it's a much safer process. So if you like this video, please like us down below, and better yet, subscribe to our channel. And if you want, pass it on to somebody else that is building something in the middle of it or is having a struggle, or if any of these videos make sense, pass those along to that friend or family member. Thanks so much. Have a great day.